ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Watkins Glen International in Watkins Glen, New York, for the NASCAR Winston Cup Bud at the Glen. And as we head into the 20th race of the 1996 NASCAR Winston Cup season, the points race is very, very tight, with the first three separated by just 63 and the first four by 104. We've seen Jeff Gordon move from third to first to fourth in the last three races. And 6 through 10 are separated by just 57 markers. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Jenkins and welcome to Watkins Glen, our second and final road course race of 1996. And road racing always offers a lot of excitement. We usually see a lot of cars on the lead lap at the end of the race and some new faces running up front. But the first bit of excitement is going to see the Dale and Dale show as they head into turn number 1. And that's where Benny Parsons will be stationed throughout the race. BP?
Hey folks, and Bob, they'll take the green flag. They'll accelerate from the start-finish line down to turn 1. Second gear, third gear, fourth, probably 130, 40 miles an hour. Then they got to slam on the brakes and go into turn 1, a 90-degree right-hander. Second gear, probably can take it at 60, 70 miles per hour. And yes, who will get through turn 1 will determine who leads that first lap. When we asked Earnhardt just a moment ago, he said Dale will lead the first lap. Dale Earnhardt or Dale Jarrett, they'll both be battling as hard as they can. Once you get through here, 2, 3, and 4, that's the S's leading to the long backstretch where they'll probably hit 160, 70 miles an hour. And Ned, they come to you and got to slam on the brakes once again.
They really do, Benny. In fact, there are 4 turns in a hurry as they come into the inner loop here, so they do have to slam on the brakes, gear the car down, and be very brave if you try to come in here side by side with someone. It's tough for most of them to get through their single file, but if they try to get through their double file in that inner loop, somebody's not going to make it, and it's going to cause a big mess. And then, of course, once they come out of that inner loop, they go into the long sweeping carousel, turn number 9 here. That's where they start back downhill after they came up the hill through the S's. So a lot of action normally in this part of the track, and we'll be here to cover it, Bob.
And you just could not order a better day. Sunshine, nice cool temperature, a nice breeze blowing, and thousands of race fans have gathered here to watch these 39 cars and drivers compete at the Bud at the Glen. We'll be back in just a moment. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's race. Dale Earnhardt on the pole with a new track record. Alongside will be Dale Jarrett, the winner last week at Indianapolis. Second row has Ricky Rudd in the tied Ford, along with Terry Labonte, the current points leader. Jeff Gordon will start in 5th position. Alongside will be Rusty Wallace. Ernie Irvan goes from 7th, and Michael Waltrip will be on the outside of row number 4. The 5th row will be Joe Nemechek and Mark Martin going for 4 in a row here. Ken Schrader and Brett Bodine make up the 6th row. Row number 7, it'll be Jeff Bodine and Bobby Labonte. John Andretti and Kyle Petty scheduled to go in row number 8. The 9th row, Butch Leitzinger driving the Cartoon Network car today and Lake Speed. Dorsey Schrader substituting for Bill Elliott starts in the 10th row along with Robert Presley. Ward Burton and Ted Musgrave are in the 11th row. The 12th row, Jeff Burton and Rick Mast. Row 13, Kenny Wallace and Bobby Hillen. The 14th row, Sterling Marlin and Darrell Waltrip. Row number 15 will be Jerry Mayfield and Bobby Hamilton. Wally Dallenbach and Derry Cope go in the next row. Then in row number 17, it's Jimmy Spencer and Dick Trickle. Hut Strickland and Johnny Benson are in the 18th row. The 19th row consists of 2 provisional starters, Ricky Craven and Morgan Shepherd, and Dave Marcus will start in the 39th position. He too a provisional starter. Getting set for the green flag, and we have the distinct pleasure of having Bill Elliott in the booth with us for the first few laps of this race. Welcome, Bill, and sorry you can't be down the race car, but you sure got a good substitute in it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard to give up sitting in a race car to come up here and sit in the booth. You know, from the fan standpoint, you know, I want to be in the car, you know, I want to do what I got to do. But I didn't feel comfortable running the whole race. I felt Dorsey would do a good job. I'm about out of breath from running up the steps.
It is a tough climb, and we appreciate you doing so, although your leg, I know, has to be hurting. The green flag comes out, and the Bud at the Glen is underway. BP, who's it going to be in 1?
It's Dale Earnhardt, that is. Dale Jarrett's going to get second spot. Labonte, Rudd, and Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon side by side. A lot of cars side by side. And so far, they all have made it through the corner.
It'll be a very important 5 bonus points that the leader of this first lap picks up, and of course Dale Earnhardt wants to pick up those 5 points very badly in case he does have to get out of the car and turn it over to David Green. They're heading toward the interloop for the first time.
And they come in there, Dale Earnhardt still in the lead with about a 3 or 4 car length lead, Bob, as they come through there, so he's in good position to lead that first lap. Dale Jarrett has Terry Labonte right on his bumper as everyone got down in single file coming through the interloop. And looks like they all made it. And Earnhardt now heading out towards turn number 10.
He's built up a pretty healthy lead over Dale Jarrett here on lap number 1, and it appears as if he might be able to lead his first lap. Michael Waltrip and Joe Nemechek go through corner number 10, wheel to wheel, and heading for turn number 11, which will bring them back to the start-finish line and complete lap number 1. And indeed it is Dale Earnhardt leading the lap, picking up the bonus points. And you'll recall at Indianapolis last week, the reason that Earnhardt moved up to second in points is because Mike Skinner picked up the bonus points for staying out there and leading. Thought we might have a battle for second there for a moment as Labonte took a look at the inside of Jarrett, but Jarrett held on to second.
And to come through the S's one more time, Earnhardt still with a comfortable lead. It's nice to look at that rearview mirror when you're going through the S's and you have to get up here to the interloop and slow down and know that somebody's not right on your back bumper, so you can slow down and gear down a little bit more at your own pace. Jarrett moves in a little bit closer to come in here, but Earnhardt still has that comfortable lead. And Terry Labonte is right on Jarrett, and certainly right on Terry Labonte is Ricky Rush.
Bill, you've driven against Dale Earnhardt for many, many times. How long do you think he's going to be out there?
Well, I tell you what, Dale's driven pretty hard right now. I think from the injury he suffered at Talladega, he's trying to prove to himself, I guess, that he needs to go out and compete, continue to race. But in his situation, that's what he needs to do. Like me, once I missed a race, it was irrelevant if I miss another one today or try to go on. But like for me, I didn't feel comfortable enough with my legs in the car, trying to keep my timing down, keep shifting, and everything you have to do at this particular racetrack. I didn't have enough strength in my left leg to continue on. I felt like I could probably run half the race. If you've got to get out, you might as well say, go ahead and let Dorsey run the car, then worry about that from that point on.
Let's call on our resident doctor to explain more medically why Bill was hurting so much in the car. Doc?
Well, Bob, it's remarkable that Bill could even qualify the car. The big high-speed left-hand turn, right-hand turns mean his left leg bounces against the left side of the seat. And Bill is a left foot braker, so that's the leg that has the plate called the screws in it. So Bill, you impressed me by disqualifying the car. But I can't imagine that leg would have lasted very long on that brake pedal, at least on the left side of the seat there, right where that long screw and plate's in. So certainly, I admire you for getting out of the car and letting Dorsey get in.
Wally Dallenbach is moving up, started 31st and is up to 25th. He's to the inside of the 22 car of Burton and taking another position.
Yes, he is. He's doing it at ease here through this turn, Bob. He gets one, at least one, every time he comes through the long sweeping turn number 9.
Now we see Bobby Hamilton moving to the inside here in turn number 10 to the inside of Bobby Hillin. They're racing for the 23rd position. And here we go with second and third position is Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte, and Ted Musgrave is headed the wrong way on the racetrack. What a horrible feeling that must be, Bill.
I'm telling you, that's the worst position you can ever be in. But, if everybody can see you and kind of get around you where you get turned back in the other direction, you're doing good. But I'll tell you what, that's no place to be here.
And that was coming off of turn 11, Bob, it looks like, and he tried to spin the car around, but the back end wouldn't break loose for him. Now it looks like the car's died.
And he does have it, I think, refired, but nevertheless, a full course caution is coming out. Yes, indeed, it is being displayed from the starter stand here in front of us. Musgrave is underway again, though.
The question is, will Earnhardt stay out, or will he come in and put David Green in the car? He said he needed an early caution plate. Here it is. This may be a break for him, but he may stay in that race car.
Man, that thing looks awfully good out there, Benny. It looked like he was just able to pull away at will, and it's going to be tough to get out of there unless he's hurting awfully bad, but we'll see.
Jerry, what are they thinking down there?
Well, Dale told me that if they got a full course caution early, he would get out. As you see David Green getting ready behind us. David in that Goodwrench uniform. That's the Caterpillar helmet he wears in the Busch Series. But of course, as the caution flag waves, Dale didn't want a full course caution, quite honestly. He wanted to run the full 90 laps, but now he may have to be true to his word, and when the pits open up here momentarily, he may have to come in for a driver change. The plan early on for Earnhardt was this. He wanted to try to run another qualifying lap on the first lap and lead and get those 5 bonus points. Then he said, look, I'm going to get comfortable. I'm going to fall back in line. I know Dale Jarrett will be there. I know Rusty will be there, the 10 car and the 5 car. So I'm going to find me a nice, comfortable place, maybe 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th, and ride and stay out of trouble. Of course, they haven't caught him yet. And now the caution came out, and the strategy may totally change. He may indeed come down and climb out of the car.
But guys, you know, the exact same strategy that Bill Elliott's using here would work here. The longer Dale Earnhardt stays in there, you know, when they change drivers, David Green's going to have to go to the rear, and it just takes a long time to work your way back up there. So the earlier they can stop, the better off they'll be, if indeed he's going to get out of it at all.
Time will only tell, and we'll know here in about a half a lap. We went to this full course caution because of Ted Musgrave's spin. It happened in corner number 11. That's the final turn that leads on to the front stretch, and car just slid sideways on him.
Well, there could have been some contact with the car behind. We have no idea because we caught the spin at the last half of it, but there could have been some contact that caused Musgrave to go around.
You saw everybody go either to the inside or outside and miss Musgrave, and that's when you have to pay particular close attention, Bill, to those corner workers that help you with the yellow flags in that particular area.
Well, see, in our position, the corner workers are very critical here because they're our eyes as far as what you can see. Most of the time here, you try to rely on a spotter, but you can't have a spotter in every corner, so you rely on the corner workers to do their job, whatever you're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see if Earnhardt decides to come in here. I'd say leading the race is going to be a tough decision from his standpoint because, I mean, it's hard to get out and end up having to put David Green at a disadvantage even this early in the race. But just like with Dorsey starting for me, he's already up to 31st, so he's doing well. So it's a hard decision to make, and I don't envy those guys for what they're having to do, but for me, I didn't have really a lot of choice.
Let's go back down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Bob, the decision has been made, and apparently Earnhardt will come down pit road. David Green has been told to put the helmet on. They got the crew standing by. And if you remember last week at the Brickyard 400, as you look at David Green getting ready to climb in that car, I don't think there was as much pain with the actual broken bones in Earnhardt's clavicle and sternum as there was emotional anguish when he had to climb out of that car after 6 laps at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is awfully tough for Dale Earnhardt. He wants to drive this race, but he was told by Richard Childress, by wife Teresa, that you got to look at the big picture. You got to look at Michigan next week, the high-speed oval, and of course Bristol, Tennessee coming up in a couple of weeks. And I think even some of his close friends say, hey, I know Clint Eastwood's your hero, but after what you did on Friday in qualifying, you may be Clint Eastwood's hero. So apparently Earnhardt will come down momentarily and have a driver change.
Something has happened to Hut Strickland's car. It's smoking. It's going very slowly on the racetrack, and so Hut is in trouble. David Green and Richard Childress are discussing the situation. The cars are nearing corner number 11 and the entrance to pit road, and so we're going to know here in just a moment if indeed they are true to their word. No, he is staying out there. Not a surprise, and we can hear even here in the booth the cheers from the fans. They like it that Dale's staying out there, Doc.
Well, here's the conversation, guys. I mean, what a surprise, huh? Richard Childress says, Dale, come on in, guys. Come on in. Let's go ahead and make the change and let David get in the car. We'll be okay. Dale said, all right. That was in the backstretch. Now, there was a lot of discussion, which I won't repeat, between the backstretch and turn 7. But basically, the last thing that was said by Childress and the crew was, Dale, it is your call. You make the call. And as you saw a moment ago, Dale indeed made the call and will stay out. The fact that he didn't pit means he'll probably run the entire 90 laps. He wants to win this thing. But we are going to have a driver change further up pit road while Bill Weber is standing by.
Well, Kyle Petty didn't need any encouragement. He's expected to bring the Coors Light Pontiac to pit number 11. It is here now, passes Dorsey Schrader, who's on pit road getting fuel and tires, and Kyle Petty rolls to a stop, already with the belts undone. He's wearing a rib brace. Todd Bodine, the Busch Grand National regular, in his Cape Carnival Cruise fire suit, has the helmet on and is ready to climb in. They're going to gingerly get Kyle out of the car. You can see him grimace as he climbs through the window. A crew member in through the passenger side, and Todd Bodine will take over for Kyle Petty.
So Todd Bodine, now third in the Busch Grand National points with one win in 1996, jumps into Kyle Petty's car. Back in just a moment. It's the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race from Watkins Glen International. Under our first caution of the day, Ted Musgrave spun down in turn number 11, but we're just about to go back to racing. The big story is at the moment, Dale Earnhardt originally said, yeah, I'll come in and turn the steering wheel over to David Green, and then he decided not to. And so Earnhardt will be at the front of the field when the green comes out to restart our event. I think they ran something like 56 laps last year in this race without the first caution. We had our first one here on lap number 4, but now back to racing. Rusty Wallace making a move in turn 1. Down to the inside of Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Gordon is right behind him.
And normally the inside groove is the best one there, but he couldn't quite pull it off that time, Bob. It's ahead now up through the Essex.
Ryan with Rusty Wallace.
Get back in single file through the Essex. That's pretty narrow up through there, and they really get a lot of speed. I don't know if Bill Ellis ever had any kind of speed mechanism on his cars to up here testing or not. But Bill, I think they get probably 165 to 170 there before they start slowing down.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard deal there, because before they put the interloop in there, I think they run like almost 185 or something like that up the back. So the interloop really helps slow the cars down, and it's kind of tough to negotiate the first time we came up here, but it's quite an interesting corner when you get there.
Dale Earnhardt continuing to lead. The Cartoon Network car, which is being driven here by Butch Leitzinger, a road racing expert. In fact, the 1993 IMSA GTU champion and the 1994 24 Hours of Daytona champion. It has moved up to 13th position at the moment, so he is definitely on the move. Started in 17th spot, but Butch is already up to 13th. The car down here on the inside is Brett Bodine.
Boy, that's kind of costing.
Michael Waltrip, yeah, Michael comes right back.
And Michael takes the position, and Leisinger right down on the inside as well. I think he's got the preferred line there now. Brett comes back on the inside, though, and takes the position back. Well, they do race up through these S's.
Sure do. Plenty of room up there. Nice wide racetrack. In through the inner loop again, and Earnhardt has pulled out to just about as much of an advantage as he had before we had the first caution. As you see the rest of the field come into the inner loop. There's Leitzinger and Jeff Burton. Bill is standing by with Kyle Petty, who got out of the car and turned it over to Todd Bodine.
And it's painful just to watch you walk up here. The only thing that doesn't hurt today is the ponytail. How do you feel?
I don't mind saying. I'm not going to pull in a macho crap on you, man. I'm hurting from head to toe. My hair does hurt. I think it hurts too, man. But, I got in, I tried. I was very fortunate. I hate that for Ted. I'm very fortunate to get an early caution so I could get out. Like I told Benny this morning, you wreck at Indianapolis and you're 100% and you end up this hurt. I didn't want to put myself in a position to get in a wreck, tear up a car, and get hurt any worse than I am. So it was just best that I got out, and Todd will do a good job in it.
Okay, that's Kyle Petty. He's out of the car. Todd Bodine's in.
Jeff Gordon lost a couple positions there, Bob.
Yeah, he sure did. He lost it to Ernie Irvin. Now Joe Nemechek has gotten around him. So Jeff got out of position and lost a couple of spots. Boy, Kyle took a heck of a ride at Indianapolis, didn't he? That was scary.
That was totally unbelievable. The things, how fast we corner in these cars this day and time, it's hard to believe. It's hard for the fans to imagine. Even whenever Jeff had the tire right front blowout and go in the wall off turn 4 there, he hit it just a little bit, but it's still hard. And I'm sure Kyle really felt it because, hitting it and then getting hit by Sterling and then hitting the wall again, it's a tough way to go.
We're riding with Ken Schrader, who's running in 10th position. Up ahead is Mark Martin, and up ahead of Mark is Jeff Gordon. Ooh, looks like Jeff locked him up there a little in the corner.
Yeah, Jeff, I noticed Earnhardt did a little bit going into turn 1 the last lap there, locked up the right front. That's one thing that was hard for me to do with my leg the way it was. It's hard to get your timing just right. You got to brake first, then cut into the corner, because if you over brake once you make the commitment to turn down in the corner, you'll lock up one of the front tires, and then that just flat spots the tires, and then you have to kind of work around that, and it's really hard on the race car. But that was kind of the problem I was having, getting my timing down and keeping the strength in my left leg.
Here's the Bodine brothers.
Yeah, running side by side, Ned, as they should be within your view here before long.
Yeah, that Brett takes the position. He's in the car number 11. Jeff in the black number 7 car as they head in to the inner loop. Now Dale Jarrett closed up a little bit on Dale Earnhardt, got it up down to about 3 car lengths now. As we watch this group of cars come through, that's Bobby Labonte in the Joe Gibbs Interstate Batteries car, number 18, right behind the Bodine brothers. And right behind Labonte is Lake Speed, who's a good road racer. He had a lot of experience before he came to Winston Cup racing. Lake Speed did in go-karts on road racing.
And by the way, this is his 350th NASCAR Winston Cup start. Now riding on top of the Wally Dolleback, Hayes Modem's car. Wally has moved steadily toward the front. Up ahead of him now is Jeff Burton. See if he can carry that momentum that he's got built up into turn 1. Not quite enough, not quite close enough to Jeff to make a move at the moment. You know, we've been talking about how difficult this track is to run, and we'll be in Bristol in a few weeks. I would imagine that you and probably Dale are looking forward to next week at Michigan, which is a relatively easy racetrack, if you will, in terms of physical ability.
Michigan's great. You know, the one thing about it in the ovals that I've run up to this point, you can kind of get your legs over at the right-hand side of the foot box to be able to leave them there. You don't have to move around a lot. But here, you've got to be very mobile with your legs, and because you turn left and right, it takes a lot of muscle to kind of keep them going back and forth. And when we go to Michigan, Michigan's such a great place. I've had a lot of good success there, run well there, and it's just a lot easier of a place. But going to Bristol, yeah, that's going to be tough on everyone.
It sure is. Watching the rest of the field come through now. By the way, the 8 car of Hut Strickland is behind the wall with a clutch problem, and that's the only one that isn't on the racetrack at the moment. 38 cars remain out there, and they're being led by Dale Earnhardt over Dale Jarrett, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, and Rusty Wallace. Back in just a moment. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race live from Watkins Glen, New York. And this is what I call fast food. Now, this is the suspension cam, which is on Bill Elliott's car that is being driven today by Dorsey Schrader. Actually, this is looking...
It's on the front bumper.
Looking to the back of the car.
On the front bumper, looking back at both front tires. Right, Bill?
That's correct, Benny. You're doing a good job. You're a little out of breath, but you're doing a good job.
I'm not down in turn 1, folks. I'm in the booth.
He finally made it to the booth.
Yes. Stopping at 3 or 4 concession stands on the way, I might add.
And there we see the McDonald's car, Dorsey Schrader, running 29th currently. The little inset is the car as it goes around turn, what is that, turn 9?
Well, I don't know what they're renaming these things.
I think that's turn 9, isn't it?
Yeah, that's turn 9. Just
Now, let's see what happens when he turns left.
Say, Dorsey's doing a good job. You know, he made a pit stop during that caution and has worked his way back up to, as you say, 29th position and positioned there to maybe get another one or so.
So you can see that the tire here on the right gets real light. In fact, there's a little bit of daylight. You could the tire lifts completely off the racetrack.
But that is the left front tire that you're indicating. It is on the right of your screen, folks, but that's the left front tire on McDonald's.
You know, it's amazing watching that, how much the suspension moves here. You know, I was watching even earlier when Earnhardt was leading the race going into the inner loop, how much the left front tire moved off the ground.
There you go.
See it pick up off the ground there. And different points on the racetrack depend on how you're in the throttle, how you brake, how you come off, will depend on how you carry that tire up off the corner.
Dorsey's moved up another position. He's up to 28th now, so boy, long way to go from the back of the pack, but if anybody can do it, the road racer Dorsey Schrader can. And Terry Labonte has taken 2nd position away from Dale Jarrett.
That's the lead, isn't it?
No.
Oh,
2nd position.
Oh, Earnhardt stayed out there. That's
yeah,
right.
He's still pretty far away.
While I was moving, while I was walking over here, Earnhardt stayed out. Okay.
Yes, he did. Not surprising, though, huh?
No, not really.
You did stop for a cheeseburger, didn't you?
I wish I could have, but I did. Pretty good battle for 2nd spot is, or 3rd spot actually, Jarrett, Rudd, Rusty, and Ernie Irvin. On top of Rusty's Miller, looking back at Ernie Irvin's Ford.
This is the car they call Killer, or at least Rusty does.
Boy, Ernie's looking to every direction there to try to find a way around Rusty Wallace. Ernie started in 7th place. He now is running in the 6th position. Really stalking Rusty Wallace as they go through turn 9 here.
And you can see that Rusty had to get off the gas a little bit up in that turn 9. Not able to come off that corner wide open then.
Seeing a number of cars slip a little bit as they come off of there. But Terry Labonte has driven away from Dale Jarrett after he got around him, so he might be closing in on Dale Earnhardt.
We can see that Labonte just isn't that far behind Earnhardt and goes down in the corner and gets ever closer, and Rudd takes a look on the inside of Jarrett. Now we see Mark Martin and Joe Nemechek. Jeff Gordon slipping back. Gordon is currently in the 9th spot.
Here's Mark Martin going for 4 wins in a row. He was going for 4 pole positions in a row here, but unfortunately did not get that accomplished. But he is still going for the 4th win in a row here at Watkins Glen. Joe Nemechek right behind him, then Jeff Gordon and Ken Schrader, who hangs in there in 10th position. 15 laps completed. This is a 90-lap race here at Watkins Glen. Earnhardt is your leader at the moment, followed by Labonte, Jarrett, Rudd, and Wallace. Bobby Hamilton makes a pit stop and rolls back out.
Had some damage to that left front fender, so that he's knocked the fender in on the tire. That's why the unscheduled pit stop, to pull that fender. And the crew telling him, be careful on pit road. You had to stop once. Don't get a ticket for speeding. Here comes Earnhardt. He's going to be lucky to stay in the same lap.
You'll have to go hard because that's Earnhardt behind you, bud.
There he is. Dale Inman, you're exactly correct. That black car is Earnhardt, the leader.
Now, we also had a spin while we were in break. It involved John Andretti, and it was a spin and obvious contact with the wall because he came away from it with some damage. Well, maybe it was contact with another car. Yes, it was.
No, we talk about the left front damage on the 43 car. That's what it is. And look at Andretti go up and back in the fence. Pretty good damage to the rear of the Kmart Ford.
But no caution. Andretti got the car fired and headed in the right direction, so the green remains out as Dale Earnhardt maintains his advantage over Terry Labonte. Here comes Dale Jarrett running 3rd, then Ricky Rudd, and then there's some fluid reportedly coming.
And here's trouble out. Yeah, there is smoke coming out of Ricky Rudd's car. There's also trouble out in the inner loop.
That's a right rear brake that Ricky Rudd's having trouble with.
You can see the fluid building up on Rusty's lens.
That's brake fluid. Right, Bill Elliott?
Looks like brake fluid coming out around the hub on the right rear tire there. Hopefully you'll notice that in a minute, because if you drive down one of these corners and lose the brakes, it's going to have a heck of a ride.
Yeah. With Bill, there was a lot of smoke the last time he came into the inner loop here, so that might be when something gave way that shot that fluid out there, and now it continues to go. Jimmy Spencer, when I said there's trouble in the inner loop, Jimmy Spencer spun over here, but he just made a 360 and kept getting.
How do you differentiate between brake fluid and water or something else, other liquid?
Well, looking at that, it might be something like an axle seal or something like that, something getting on the right rear brake, but it's something that's isolated to that area, but he is losing a lot of fluid. It's like he's going to have a problem here a little bit later on in the race.
And more from Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, let's ask Danny Marshman, who calls the race for Ricky Rudd. Danny, what's leaking out there? We're seeing some smoke.
Yeah, I believe it's just he's blowing just a little bit of rear end grease out of the rear, and he said he could smell it, but when it comes by the back of the car, it's not getting dirty, so hopefully it's not too bad right now.
Danny, we'll let you go. They're going to black flag him next time out. They're going to make him come in and have you guys take a look at it. So apparently the rear end grease, a little bit of overflow. He said they may have it too full, but whenever the Tide car will have to make a stop on pit road.
So Rudd has been shown the black flag, and Mark Martin trying to make a move on Ernie Irvan for 6th position. And gets it.
So Mark Martin Man, this car has been strong for the last 3 years, and the 4th year is no different, is it?
No, it certainly isn't. That car knows its way around this racetrack, and certainly Mark knows how to put that car. And here's Dorsey Schrader making another move, passing Kenny Wallace. The car number 81. He's been following him for about 5 laps. Now moves around him.
Jimmy Spencer and Robert Presley also moving up.
I know during the break we talked about Jimmy Spencer had gained a lot of positions, Bob, and moved up through there, but then he spun into the interloop. I don't know how many positions that might have cost him.
There is Spencer just ahead of Dorsey. We might mention that Dorsey won the Trans Am race here yesterday on this racetrack, and he is currently the leader in the Trans Am series.
I'm sure that's one of the reasons Bill Elliott chose him to get in this Donald's Ford.
Well, I chose him before yesterday.
Well, I know, but you know of his road racing experience is what I mean.
That's right, Dan. He's done an excellent job, I'll tell you. He's a real good guy, too.
Yeah, he is. He's worked with us a lot on our broadcast from various locations, and good broadcaster, good driver. Bill Weber has a report from pit road.
Well, Bobby Hamilton's back in. He came in a lap ago to fix the left side sheet metal, put new tires on the car and fuel in it. He went around, called in, said his motor just quit. So they've got the hood up on the STP Pontiac. They're talking it over. Bobby sits in the car, but the car not running, and Bobby Hamilton sits on pit road, very disappointed.
Showing new colors on that car this week, and
In the garage, my brother.
He just quit. He's thinking maybe it broke a timing chain or a camshaft, I think is what they're talking about. Yeah, that's the petty blue of old.
Yep.
Back in the early 70s, late 60s, there's about a 4 spot. Rusty Wallace running 4th, Martin 5th.
you remember Rusty has a lot of buildup on his windshield because he was following Ricky Rudd, so he's asked for another man over the wall on his pit stop that he can come by and clean the windshield. Here, meanwhile, is Rudd heating the black flag and coming toward his pit. Jerry?
Well, Bob, 35 miles an hour, that's the speed. It must seem like an eternity for Ricky Rudd. That's 4,000 RPM in first gear, I'm told, as he brings the Tide Ford down pit road. They have the jack stands. Danny Marshman and company go to work on the outside, the left side of the car. They will change left side tires. They will take the left rear tire off, take a look underneath the car. Thus far, NASCAR looking beneath the rear of the car. One official on his knees, now another one on his knees looking beneath the rear of the car. Marshman had said they thought it was an overflow problem, possibly overfilling the rear end tank. This is a brand new race car. Remember they had a brake problem on Friday? They changed all 4 tires, and he is down and away. And now NASCAR will talk to Danny Marshman. That is Alan Bryson, the NASCAR official, saying, bring him back in, bring him back in. We didn't get a look. He does have something leaking out according to NASCAR, so they're going to discuss it. We'll find out what they say and get back to you, Bob.
All right. So Ricky Rudd having problems here in the early going of the Bud at the Glen. 23 laps completed, and the lead continues to be held by Dale Earnhardt. Back in Watkins Glen International in New York for the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race. We're 24 laps into this event, and here is a Fram Field summary showing you where everybody is running at the moment. The numbers in parentheses on the right indicate their starting position. Dale Earnhardt has been at the front since the drop of the green flag. Wally Ballenbach has moved from 31st to 16th. Sterling Marlin has moved up about 10 positions. Morgan Shepherd has gained about 20.
Look at Morgan Shepherd. Once again, his car will run well in racing conditions, does not qualify well.
And 31st through 39th. The 77 car of Bobby Hillin, shown there in 34th position, at the moment is on pit road with a hood up. And the battle is between
Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin. That's Ricky Craven, the Kodiak car that is a lap down, back in 37th spot.
Here's the roof cam on Mark Martin.
Tough break for Mark Martin because he caught Ricky Craven at the worst possible spot going down to turn 1. Not able to get by. Ned, he really needs to get by him going into turn 5 and 6.
Yeah, because you can lose a lot of time following a car, Ricky's car, not up to speed here today the way that he would like for it to be. And Mark now, Craven does, as he comes into the interloop, lets him by, and so that opens him up to go back up there after Rusty Wallace now.
Ricky Rudd is still out there, Jerry. Is he going to come back in?
Bob, let's find out from Danny Marshburn. Danny, what was the problem, and will NASCAR let you stay out?
Yeah, everything's going to be fine right now. He just got a little bit too much rear end grease in it and went around the hard right-hander till it's blown a little bit of rear end grease out. NASCAR officials on the backstretch looked at it again. They said everything looks okay right now.
So it was coming out the vent, over the overflow vent for the rear end.
Yeah, exactly. It's just pushing. When it's got too much, it'll get pressure and it'll just push whatever it don't want out of the vent.
Well, that's good news for Ricky Rudd. They're not going to bring him back in. He stayed out. Apparently the smoke is now ceasing on the car, but he's lost some time.
And Jimmy Spencer has spun again, Bob, over here in the interloop. The car number, I think it was Brett Bodine that came through the interloop, but he waited for came straight through there and not making the interloop, but he waited for those to pass him back that he passed, and that's okay. He was told in the driver's meeting, but that's the second time that Spencer has spun in the interloop here so far today.
He's having a good run, and he's been especially good the last few races because Spencer has moved from 21st to 13th in the points since Dover, but he's using every inch of racetrack out there now.
He sure is. And Rick Mast right now trying to get by Spencer. Almost got by him as Spencer was coming back on the racetrack. There we see the cars as they go down in turn one. They both turn into the corner. Spencer will maintain that spot. Hopefully Rick hopes he'll be able to get a run on him on the backstretch after the S's and beat him down towards Ned Jarrett.
John Andretti with some damage there on the rear of the car after he spun in corner number 11, and he's being pursued by Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy looks like he's got a pretty good run off the S's.
He tried to get alongside. Coming into the interloop, let's see. Nope, can't do it this time.
Well, he did get by Andretti. Bobby Hillen is also there in the mix, but remember, Hillen has just made a pit stop that lasted for 2 laps, so he's back in 37th, 2 laps down.
Yeah, he did make that pass, Bob. I was looking at the wrong car coming in there. Sorry about that.
Dale Earnhardt's lead over Terry Labonte has moved up to 2 seconds. Not quite 3 over Dale Jarrett, almost 8 over Rusty, and 8.5 over Mark Martin. Now the question has to become, will he complete the race? Is he going to stop on the pit stop?
I think if he goes 30 laps, he has no choice but complete the race.
Well, I see the problem you have is just like we talked about with Dorsey. If you get a situation to where you have to go to the back of the pack now, you just put yourself in a position out of winning the race.
That's what exactly. Jerry Punch, what are they saying down in the Earnhardt pits?
Well, Bill Elliott is exactly right, Bill. I mean, that's exactly what Dale Earnhardt told him this morning when they had a team meeting. He said, guys, if I'm going to get out, I need to be fair to the team, I need to get out of the first 10 laps and give David Green a chance to be able to get back up. You guys can work your pit strategy. We got time to work traffic. The track position is so important. If I run to the first pit stop, guys, I'm going to be here for 90 laps. I'm going to be here all day long. Pit stop now becoming the order of the day. We are at lap 28. We expect some of the other leaders to come in next time by. Jeff Gordon made a disappointing finish last week at Brickyard 400 coming down pit road. Now, he had been reporting that his car was tight on the left-hand turns and loose on the right-hand turns. They're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment. Now, Ray Evernham and the crew going to work on the left side. They will make a chassis change on the right rear. You see the wrench going in the right side window. Now the crew coming around to the left side. We'll watch and see they couldn't fill a fuel. NASCAR allowing an extra man over the wall to clean the windshield. Now one crank, about a crank and a half there on the right rear, and he is down and away in 20.2 seconds for the DuPont Chevrolet.
Gives them a lot of track position, but of course others are going to need pit stops before too very long. Dale Earnhardt leads Labonte, Jarrett, Wallace, and Martin after 28 of 90 laps at Watkins Glen. Mark Martin moving out of the pits as well. David Green is still standing by. Doesn't even have the helmet on. But Dale Earnhardt is staying in the car even after the first pit stop.
So Terry Labonte, oh, there's a tire on pit road rolling across. All the cars have missed it so far. It comes to a rest. Terry Labonte is coming in the pits. Bill Weber.
Kellogg's Cornflake Chevrolet on pit road. First and chassis adjustment. It's a little pushy, Terry says. 4 tires, the left sides are already on. They swing around to the right side and change 2 more tires. Got plenty of fuel in it. This is the same car Terry Labonte brought here for a test session and crashed. The only thing that's the same is his steering wheel in the seat. He's back in the race.
Now the question is, how long is it going to take him to get down pit road, and where is he going to come out on the racetrack as compared to Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt?
Both Jarrett and Earnhardt were pitted down toward pit out, whereas Labonte was way up here toward turn number 11. Here comes both Earnhardt and Jarrett into turn number 1 as Terry Labonte tries to accelerate out of the pits. It's going to be a pretty good race here toward the S's.
And Earnhardt dives on the inside and takes the lead. He's not the leader because right now the 94 car of Dorsey Schrader, the McDonald's car, still on the racetrack, is the leader of the race.
So Dorsey's going to pick up 5 bonus points for having led a race here at Watkins Glen, and we're riding with him.
Boy, Bill, every turn of the wheel has to be so precise.
Yeah, the bad thing about it is here you kind of jerk the car out from under you. If you're not smooth, it can work through the inner loop, back through turn 5, come back this way, you'll get it out from under you. But they stopped about 5 laps when the first caution came out. They went ahead and stopped, put on 4 tires and gas, and that's the reason they're still out right now.
Yeah, he pitted on lap 4, and so this is why he's able to stay out longer than anybody else. Still staying out there. Dorsey Schrader leading the McDonald's Ford at the moment.
And we see right behind the McDonald's car is Earnhardt, Labonte, Jarrett.
For the inner loop.
That's Rick Mass in the Hooters car right in front of our leader, Dorsey Schrader. Bill, how many laps can you run in the McDonald's Ford before you have to stop for gas?
We're guessing about 32, 3 laps, I think, is what Mike figured earlier this morning.
So he can run 3 or 4 more laps before he's got to stop.
But you know, the ideal number is go ahead and like Earnhardt and the rest of those guys, stop a little bit short. Because here, if you're leading the race, it don't penalize you. If you stop, go back out, the caution comes out, you don't have to come in, and you're leading the race again.
Gentlemen, better pay attention to that 2 car, Rusty Wallace. He made a great pit stop. He dropped back about 5 or 6 seconds behind the leaders before that pit stop. Made a great pit stop, and now is closing in on the leaders.
Well, there are 57 laps to go, and so our Heinz 57 field summary is being shown right now as the Robert Presley car has slowed, if not almost stopped on the racetrack, and this could mean a caution flag.
Well, I think that Dorsey Schrader and the McDonald's crew, I think they can change tires sooner than Earnhardt can come back. So that would be a break for Dorsey Schrader if, in fact, the caution flag were to come out.
Yeah, Earnhardt's just now coming through turn 9, so they should be able to get Dorsey back out there, yeah, in good shape.
Dorsey is rolling down pit road, and he's down toward pit out also. And the caution flag is out, a full course caution for the 2nd time this afternoon. As you see the front runners moving by the reason for the caution flag, Robert Presley's stalled car between turns 9 and 10. Here comes Earnhardt around turn number 11. He will get the yellow flag, but he will do so as the leader of the race. Now watch as we have the whole field cross the line, come out of corner number 11, and you can see where everybody is on the racetrack at the moment.
See, Musgrave, he in fact is in the 5th spot. Mark Martin is 6th. Todd Bodine and Kyle Petty's car is 7th. There we see Jeff Gordon, Bobby Hillen.
Terry Labonte did get credit for leading a lap. I believe it was lap 31 when Earnhardt came in, so he gets the 5 points.
I agree with that. There comes Michael Waltrip and Kenny Schrader. Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton, Jeff Bodine. There's Light Singer, the Cartoon Network car. Sterling Marlin, Johnny Benson. There comes the Spam Machine, Lake Speed, Morgan Shepherd, Ward Burton, Wally Dallenbach, Kenny Wallace, and there's the Dorsey Schrader car. Ricky Craven. Looks like Derek Coe behind Craven. Darrell Walter, Western Auto car. Jimmy Spencer, John Andretti.
My golly, he does know his cars, doesn't he, Bill?
I
don't think he made a mistake. Okay, let's take a break here under our second caution of the day. A huge crowd on hand to watch the Bud at the Glen. Perfect timing. Green coming out at Watkins Glen. Race back underway as Dale Earnhardt leads him down into turn number 1. That's Labonte on the inside of the lap car of Rick Mast. Labonte in second spot. Dale Jarrett in third. Robert Presley was out of gas. That's the reason. And look at Nemechek go way off the track.
He and Michael Waltrip almost make contact a time or two. But now Michael is hung in with something behind. There we see Schrader behind the Michael Waltrip car. Riding along with Kenny Schrader. Down the backstretch, called fourth gear just before you, Ned.
And they head into the interloop here. Jeff Gordon tried to get on the inside. Rick Mast couldn't quite make that pass as he came in there. Front 5 cars are all in front of the lap cars. Rick Mast, the only one of the lap cars that's up there amongst them. Dave Marcus is running along there in the top 10, but he's a lap down as well as they head out of turn 9 over towards turn 10.
A couple of cars have gone to the garage area. Ricky Rudd has gone there, and so has Dick Trickle with the transmission problem.
Well, Bill, I guess Ricky Rudd's problem was not brakes, but it was, in fact, rear-end fluid coming out of the car. He lost all the fluid and the gear burned up, that's what I'm told.
Evidently, it was more serious than what they had originally thought.
Rusty Wallace trying to look on the inside of Jarrett. Michael Waltrip gets by the Dave Marcus car.
Well, that caution flag was a huge break for a lot of drivers who were running anywhere from 10 to 50 seconds behind the leaders, so that let them get caught back up, gave them a much better track position, or at least in relation to the leaders.
Dorsey Schrader was the leader of the race when the caution came out, or he was in the pits when the caution came out, and he has fallen into 20th position now. There are 30 cars still on the lead lap at this point, and 37 laps have been completed. We ride with the roof cam of Rusty Wallace, who's 5th.
On the backstretch, 4th gear.
Now, actually, Bob, he's in 4th.
Yes, he is. Yep. It's a Fran Field summary. Yeah, he's right behind Jarrett, who's 3rd.
We can hear him back off the throttle now. Nail the accelerators to go down the front stretch. 2nd gear. Shift, Rusty. Now he downshifts. Third gear up the hill. Now he'll shift to 4th as he comes off turn 3, turn 4 here. He's in 4th gear now. As hard as he can go up the backstretch towards Ned in turn 5.
After you get off turn 1, is it no braking up through the S's down the backstretch?
No braking whatsoever. You can just about run flat out all the way up through the S's. If you got your car working well, that's a good place you can make time. Normally, when you get to the top of the hill and make that last left-hander, sometimes the car's a little bit tight and you have to kind of squeeze out of it as the race goes on, but you can normally go through there pretty well.
And a lot of work in the Ricky Rudd garage area. Bill?
Not very happy campers down here. They definitely burned up their rear end gear. A moment ago, smoke billowing from beneath this car, so it was obviously leaking at the start of the race. Then, they brought it in, tried to fix it, and they just burned up the rear end gear. Ricky's still sitting in the car. The window net's still up. He's not very happy. He's 5th in points. He's won here twice. These guys will work real hard, try and get him back out, get him some points, but this team continues to struggle.
You know what was the first clue he burned the gear up, Bob?
What's that?
You know what the first clue was that he burned the fire extinguisher sitting under the car. And Earnhardt, once again, out in front. You know, if he leads about 6 more laps, he will get the bonus points for leading the most laps.
Yep. See if he'd have got out earlier, he'd have lost that.
Yeah.
That's another valuable 5 points at the end of the year.
I can't imagine as much pain as he has to be in out riding around, shifting and back and forth. Can you feel it?
Well, you forget about the pain. I mean, that's one thing about it is, you know, once you get in these race cars and strap yourself in, you can be hurt pretty bad. Forget about that.
I was amazed, though, on Friday when I watched your qualifying show. I thought really that he would just perform well enough to get the car solidly in the field and then go rest, and that isn't what happened.
Well, he did kind of get it solid.
Yeah, he did. Real solidly.
Real solid.
Letting the field go through and show you where your favorite driver is. Here's Todd Bodine in substitution of Kyle Petty, trying to work on Wally Dallenbach. And where are they? About 23rd position.
Todd ran second in the Busch race here back in June. Second to Terry Labonte. Had a real good run.
Did a great job. He and Terry Labonte ran side by side through the interloop where you are, Ned.
Yeah, that still amazes me that they were able to do that. But they had to be a little bit of give there and not much take in that type of situation.
Up ahead is Wally Dallenbach, who finished second here last year. He was driving the 22 car here last year. Was not a regular in the series, but turned it on for Watkins Glen.
It's a rear bumper of Wally Dallenbach's Hayes car as he looks back at Todd Bodine. Sound like he spun out, didn't it?
Sound like it. All right, Joe Nemechek and Ernie Irvin now are battling for 7th position.
Uh-oh, Nemechek, some smoke on his car. When he went down to turn 1 a while ago, I saw him dive under Ernie Irvin in a tire smoke. I guess there's just some other kind of problem. Jeff Gordon closed in on the back bumper on Mark Martin.
Joe Nemechek led 26 of the first 51 laps of the Busch Grand National race in June, though, so he's a pretty good road racer. Look at the damage on the 4 car.
Yeah, I guess we can find somebody's rear bumper that matches that nose piece on the 4 car. It's probably the 7.
Yeah, something just happened to the 81 car. Kenny Wallace going down the front straightaway here. He went rolling into turn 1.
The way that Sterling Mullen's car is hit in the nose, he might not be able to get enough air in the grill, the bottom grill, to keep the radiator cool, although it is a relatively cool day here in Watkins Glen. Temperature is probably in the high 70s.
Sterling's best finish here at Watkins Glen was back in 1993. He finished 6th. Butch Leitzinger and the Cartoon Network car is behind Sterling Moreland. Running 14th and 15th. Running first, Dale Earnhardt. And Rusty once again looking to the inside of Dale Jarrett, but Jarrett holds him off.
Yeah, he was almost there.
So we're nearing the halfway point of this race. 42 laps of the 90 are complete. Earnhardt leads over Labonte, Jarrett, Wallace, and Martin. There's the interval, the lead that Dale Earnhardt has over Terry Labonte and the rest of the field.
Whoa, did you see Rusty Wallace smoke?
Oh, and look at Rusty slide through the grass.
And he stopped, did not hit anything. Oh, I see what was smoking. That was tire smoke because he got sideways.
Yep.
Oh, man, cars in position just flying by. More cars, more cars.
That's going to be tough to make up to, baby. Boy, that gives up all that track position. Tough situation for us.
So he's going to lose about a dozen, 13, maybe 14 positions with that little slide off course.
You know, I think that's what's going to take its toll here later on in the race. Tires get hot, the brakes get warm. people are really pushing the cars, and that was the one of the big reasons why I said, for me just to sit here and not try to drive the car. When you get tired and you start making mistakes, then things start compounding on you, and track position is so critical here.
Let's take a look at it again.
So we can tell what happened to Rusty Wallace. Here's in front of his camera. Let's listen.
I think he just got in there a little bit too hard, Benny.
Sound like he might have got the rear wheels hopping a little bit too.
Hit the brakes and got the rear wheels hopping, and
but he avoided the tire and or styrofoam barriers that they have as the Miller crew watches the replay along with us. They know that Rusty is okay, but lost many positions on the racetrack.
Bob, on Friday, he might not have been able to get that thing stopped before he got to that tire barrier because that grass would have been wet.
Yep.
Because it rained all night on Thursday night and on Friday morning here. But it's dried out a lot since then, so that helps you slow it down.
Cross flags are being displayed. We're halfway through this event. Dale Earnhardt, the leader, at the halfway point. Let's take another look at this Rusty Wallace incident.
there's Earnhardt going through the frame. There comes Labonte. Wow, that's the right front tire I saw smoking.
Left front tire,
I'm sorry, as I saw smoking as he locked her up trying to get it woed. He said, please stop, baby. Stop, baby. Attaboy. Attaboy.
Those are styrofoam barriers there that are in front of the tires, which are in front of the guardrail.
Yeah, the white that you see is styrofoam, and that'll take care of a lot of the energy when the cars get in there.
Something new here at Watkins Glen this year. They have down near turn number 10 and also down by turn number 1.
Well, see, Earnhardt's getting tired because he's opening up a little bit on the body now.
He's about wore out.
He's wore the field out.
Yeah, he is. And he goes by, leads another lap.
I think he's made enough now, Benny, that he can, he's sewed up that most laps led. Or at least if he leads one more lap, he should be in that position, so that's 5 more bonus points.
I believe that's correct, Ned. He has to lead one more lap to sew up those 5 bonus points. There we see Schrader diving on the inside of Rick Mast down in turn 1. Takes his spot away. Rick Mast in the Hooters car is a lap down.
The last time Rick Mast led a NASCAR Winston Cup race was on a road course at Sears Point earlier this year.
There comes Bobby Labonte down towards you, Ned.
Bobby, they did a lot of work on that Interstate Batteries car this morning. Jimmy Maycar told me to change the sway bar and a couple of springs and the motor and a few things. And he's got it going pretty good here today.
Running 10th right now.
Cranfield summary again. Earnhardt about to lock up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps at Watkins Glen.
Ernie Irvin off the pace on the front straightaway. The Avalon Texaco car came off turn 11, slowed, and we see Nemechek and Michael Walter get in by.
Boy, he has had a hot streak going. He has earned more points in the last 6 races than any driver in NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
He has a 3.5 average finish in the last 6 races, 6 straight top 5 finishes, and jumped from 16th to 7th in the points.
Now looks like the car's going again. Yep. I don't know, maybe he had an ignition problem and he changed boxes and the car's going. I'm sure we'll be able to find out from the crew what he's saying.
Could be transmission, maybe having just a higher gear.
Jerry Punch?
Larry, what happened? The car suddenly slowed.
Yeah, we lost 3rd gear. We got 2nd, 4th gear. Of course, 3rd gear is your primary gear here, so we're just going to have him watch his RPMs, watch his temperature, and see what happens here. You know, we had transmission trouble at Sears Point. We had another transmission failure yesterday, so we got to figure out what's causing it.
Boy, this race has got that much tougher for Ernie Irvin. Now the road course is even tougher with no 3rd gear.
And you see him going in that right-hander. He needed 3rd gear. He needed the downshift there for 3rd gear. Well, I saw the car wiggle a little bit, which meant he got in the corner a little bit harder than he wanted to.
See, another thing's going to be harder on brakes, too. Get the car low down.
Now you need to sign Bill Elliott up. He called that.
That's right. Good job.
Lucky shot.
Ernie Irvan, the winner here at Watkins Glen back in 1991. He has 2 victories at Sears Point in 92 and 94. Up front, they remain basically the same as Earnhardt, Labonte, Jarrett, Martin, and Gordon. 48 out of 90 laps have been completed.
Looks like Terry Labonte might be closing up just a little bit on Dale Earnhardt.
But Earnhardt has clinched the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. So he goes out of here with a bonus of 10 points this afternoon.
I wonder if the pain right now is just getting unbearable and Earnhardt saying, okay, I've got all the bonus points that I can get. I think I ought to fall back and run about 5th or 6th and just relax a little bit.
Now he wants to win the race.
What do you think, Ned?
I agree with Bill. I think he wants to win the race. I don't think maybe he's going to push it that hard to be able to do it as hard maybe as he's been pushing it, but I think that he has an awfully good race car out there, and I think he's going to drive that thing just as hard as he needs to keep those guys at bay.
No question that Terry Labonte is closer than he has been in a while. Dale Jarrett is not too far behind as they enter the inner loop once again on the 52nd lap.
See Hut Strickland back out there. He's 44 laps down.
But, you know, looking at what Rusty's little deal over here, little spin, it really put him in a bad position. You know, that's the thing about how critical track position is and what the interval is from where he's running right now to the leader, Earnhardt.
Right now, Rusty Wallace back in 15th spot was running second. Meanwhile, we're on board with Kenny Schrader. There's the 18 car, 99 car. Pretty good race in front of you, Ned.
Yeah, there's a lot of good cars that are running. Schrader, like I said, 18 to 99, the 7 car of Jeff Bodine, Morgan Shepherd, Sterling Barlow, Rusty Wallace, Butch Leisinger. A lot of cars running very close together there for position. And here's Bobby Labonte. He wants a position.
And he takes 9th. Bobby Labonte goes into 9th, and Ernie Irvan is smoking badly coming off of corner number 11.
No, he's blowed up. That's what he is.
Now he's still running.
Barely.
Well, you wonder if he might have overread it. Larry McFriendly said they had to be covered.
Looks like he's losing fluid right there.
And there's a crash as Rusty Wallace has gone into the tire barrier in turn number 11.
And the car is hung up on the curb. The rear wheels are not on the ground. He cannot back it up.
The car is high centered. Could it have been from the fluid from Ernie Irvan's car?
Well, who knows? Could have been, but who knows?
In any case, Rusty Wallace's problems now are compounded. He lost track position earlier, and there's still some fluid coming out of that 28 car.
Yeah, he's smoking heavily as he comes into the inner loop here, Bob.
So we have a 3rd overall caution. Jerry Punch has more.
Well, Rusty just told the crew I got into something coming out of the 28 car, and I came in a corner, and it wasn't even about to turn. I just skated right into the wall. So I said something just came suddenly gushing out of the 28 car, and I happened to be the one that found it.
Fortunately, Rusty is right by the pit entrance, so he easily is going to be able to get in. Let's listen. This is turn 10. There he sees the smoke ahead, going to turn 11. He's made it to pit road, but there's a lot of damage on the left front of the Miller Ford. Ernie Irvan has gone behind the wall. Meanwhile, a couple of cars, Ricky Rudd and Hut Strickland, have gone back on the racetrack after many laps in their respective garage areas. So the Miller crew now trying to salvage the 2 car. Rusty Wallace into the tire barrier in turn 11 on lap 53 here at the Bud at the Glen. We are under caution here at Watkins Glen. Rusty Wallace nosed into the tire barrier, turn number 11. They've got the hacksaws and all other kinds of equipment out as Rusty sits and waits until he can get the car back out there. Here is Ernie Irvan coming through corner number 11, and this was just ahead of Rusty Wallace.
But there's several cars between Ernie and Rusty. There's several cars coming through, and then all of a sudden Rusty just, boom.
Oh,
man, oh man.
Some heavy contact, and now a lot of pit stops are being made. Here's Bill Weber.
Terry Labonte's Chevrolet is just a little loose. They've made a tire pressure adjustment. They're going to do a 4-tire change here and put all the fuel they can in. They cannot go the distance. This team is rooting for cloud cover. Terry says his car would be better if the skies were totally overcast. He's on his way down pit road, headed toward Jerry Punch and Dale Earnhardt's pit.
Well, a full pit road, as you look up pit road, Earnhardt's crew changing right side tires, and likewise Bill Weber, they cannot make it all the way. By calculations with David Smith, they can run 34 laps to put them at lap 88, which means they will run out of gas 2 laps to the end. Likewise, Jeff Gordon will run out 2 laps early as Earnhardt, and now Huss Rickler, Terry Labonte. Here is Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, as they all shuffle back to turn 1.
And Dale Jarrett evidently had some trouble on that pit stop because, and those guys are high-fiving, congratulating each other. There we see Don Hawks and attaboy, way to do it.
And so, Bill, basically the pit strategy that everybody thought of earlier is out the window because of this caution.
Totally. You know, everybody was going to try to run to 30 laps, then lap 60, then be able to go to the end of the race. But now with this in the deal, it's going to take a totally different turn for the end of the race.
It looks like a splash of gas with 5 or 6 laps to go now.
If anybody can do the window, they'll win the race.
Well, I mean, Terry Labonte has historically this season ran longer than anyone else on fuel, and they said they positively cannot make it. So if he can't make it, I would think that no one can make it.
Bill Elliott has to go. Thank you so much for being here. Great
Thanks,
job.
guys. Appreciate you having me.
We'll see you in Michigan next week in the car, I hope.
I'll be in the car next week for certain.
Right.
Get better, boy.
Thanks, guys.
Bill Elliott has joined us for the first 54 laps of this race. Caution out, they're working up at turn number 11. We'll take a look at it once again from the onboard camera, the roof cam, as Rusty came through corner number 10, saw the smoke up ahead, and got the tire barrier in corner 11.
I mean, he started to get back on the gasoline, so there was something there that Rusty hit.
They're still working on the car on pit road. We'll be back to Watkins Glen in a moment. Still under caution here at Watkins Glen International, the butt of the Glen. 55 out of 90 laps have been completed. We're under the caution because of a crash involving Rusty Wallace. Just check on how the crew is doing. Here's Jerry.
Well, Robin Pemberton, Billy Wilburn, and the crew trying to work on what's left of Killer. That's the nickname for this Miller Ford Thunderbird that killed him out in Sonoma. But right now, the car has got a huge problem in the front end. The chassis, part of the front frame section has been bent. The wheels are towed out big time in the front. Now, Rusty told the crew a moment ago after the accident, and I was just checking with him to make sure they heard what we heard. Rusty said, I think I hit some fluid out of the 28 car, but as NASCAR has checked, they didn't see anything on the racetrack, and you got to wonder maybe something broke in the front of the car, and Rusty just began to skate abruptly head on into the wall, and that may be why the front end is so heavily damaged. Anyway, he still sits here. They're trying to get the car fixed. As we go back and check in with Bill Weber, I think he's standing by near the Ernie Urban car.
And Jerry standing here with Ernie, who's a previous winner here. Obviously, you're the hottest guy on the circuit. This is disappointing, Ernie. What happened?
I was the hottest guy because his transmission was smoking real bad. It got real hot, and we lost third gear first, and started learning how to drive it without third gear, and then all of a sudden something else broke in it. So, I'm the second transmission I broke this year, and never broke any before. So, doing something wrong.
Road courses are tough, aren't they?
Oh, they are. You know, these guys built a brand new car here, and I mean, it was really good. And this Texas Avalon Ford was, I think, was performing fairly well. I don't know if we were going to be able to win the race, but you know, we were right there and with the lap speeds we needed.
Hey, Bill.
Okay, they're working on his car to get him back out, get some points.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, Benny.
Tell Ernie that he needs to have Robert detune that Yates motor a little bit. All that horsepower bad on the powertrain.
I'll pass that along to him.
All right, thanks.
Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Well, guys, the crew chiefs down here of all the lead cars almost a moment ago said in unison, it was like they all keyed their radios at the same time and said 2 words: conserve fuel.
That seems to be the magic word right now, conserve.
But then we see Jeff Bodine is leading. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's look at this on the AutoZone off-track time stop.
Gordon picked up a position in the pits, and we talk so often about how important track position is, and you can get it or lose it in the pits.
That's right, and Dale Jarrett went in the pits running in the third spot, and now he's what, 6th, Ned?
Yeah, he's in 6th place. Of course, as you mentioned, Jeff Bodine didn't stop, but Bobby Labonte made a great pit stop. He gained a lot too, but you can see what the difference was on Jarrett and Gordon there.
And Dale Jarrett had a better time on his other stop at 48.9. So this time he was just a couple of seconds slow, but that was 4 spots on the racetrack.
That is correct. Jeff Bodine did not pit, so he is at the front of the field as the lights atop the pace car are out, so we should be going back to racing here in just a moment.
And we see Bobby Labonte back there. He was 8th before this round of pit stops. Now he is in 4th spot. So his crew, Jimmy Makar and the crew, picked up 4 spots in the pits. Great job.
Well, we showed you a field summary when there were 57 laps to go. Now we're approaching the 57 laps completed mark, and so our Heinz 57 field summary is on the screen for you, showing that 7 cars are on the lead lap, with Rick Mast a lap down in 28th, and Dick Trickle the only car officially listed as out of the race at the moment, although there are a few back in the garage area. Pace car pulls ahead. Field comes through corner number 11, where the trouble was with Rusty Wallace. The green flag waves. We're back to racing at the Bud at the Glen, and looks like that Jeff Gordon looking to the inside of Bobby Labonte, trying to pick up 4th spot.
And he does it. Coming into turn 1, motor's right on by on the inside.
And see Dale Jarrett trying to get by Labonte. And he drives on the outside of it.
Ooh, I didn't know you could do that up through that mess, Benny.
I didn't either, Ned. And Mark Martin's trying to do the same thing.
You don't have a nice guy like Bobby Labonte there beside him to be able to do that.
So Jarrett moves into 5th position. He's only had one top 5 finish on a road course. That was here in 1991. There's Ken Schrader and Michael Waltrip and Jeff Burton. All of those cars on the lead lap. Michael Waltrip having a good day as we look back on his car. He's running in 9th position. And trying to pass Ken Schrader here.
He's alongside, but he's going to be in a tough spot when you get to turn 11.
Being out on that outside, but
yep.
Oh, Labonte just ran in the grass.
He sure did. He got way off in the grass, and there are 4 abreast coming down through here there into turn 1.
They better start fumbling pretty doggone quick.
Whoa, Burton on the inside. Passes Waltrip, and we got a spin. That's Warren Burton. Doing a half spin at least. Everybody else is going to be able to get around okay.
Didn't hit anything before. There goes that track position. That is really costly.
He was in 12th position when he crossed the line on that lap, but now loses a lot of track position. There it is again.
Let's take a look as they all come down in the corner. There he is, the black car, right in the middle of the screen as he smokes the brakes, trying to get down in the corner, and his angle getting in the corner was so bad, he just not able to make that turn. And we could see the black mark as he smoked the tires with the brakes, trying to get in the corner, trying to get slowed for the corner. Jeff Bodine's QBC car still leading Dale Earnhardt.
So how many ever cars are in the lead lap? That's where Ward Burton is running now, Bob. What'd you say, 23 cars on the lead lap?
27.
27, okay. Well, that's where he slipped back to.
Now let's talk about the strategy that Jeff Bodine is employing here. He did not make a stop when the caution came out for Rusty Wallace, elected to stay out. He's picking up bonus points, but he's probably got some further thoughts regarding the later part of the race.
I would guess, Bob, that he stayed out there, and he's just going to make his 2 pit stops that everybody knew that he could go the whole distance, making 2 pit stops, and then he'll come in under the green. You can pit and not lose a lap on the green, and then hope to get back out there, hope the caution comes out, and everybody else will have to go in the pits and top off their fuel at least, and that will put him back up running.
An update from Jerry Punch, who's with Rusty.
Well, behind the wall in the Miller Ford Thunderbird, Rusty still sits in the car. Rusty, what happened out there? A wild ride for you.
Yeah, I just went into turn 10 there, or turn 11, and evidently the 28 dropped a bunch of oil, and I hit it. I didn't see it hit it, just went flying off the course right there. There's no steering when I hit that stuff.
You had a close call a few laps to go back in turn 10.
Yeah, the car was really flying. We made that last pit stop, put 4 tires on. I was trying to get around the car in front of me there and just got in the corner too hot. Locked the front wheels up and slid off the course. Just gonna have to rely on a pit stop, a good fast one to get back up the front, which I thought we could have, but man, I didn't encounter that oil out there.
Robin Pemberton and the crew working on the front of the Miller Ford Thunderbird. Rusty currently 6th in the point standings, and this period behind the wall is going to cost him dearly in that battle.
Winner here in 1987 and 89, Rusty Wallace. Still waiting to get back out there after a crash in turn number 11. Jeff Bodine continues to lead the Bud at the Glen here over Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett. 59 laps complete. Still the first 3, 4, 5 are in the same position, but Jeff Gordon has a problem.
I think he made some contact with his teammate of Terry Labonte going down in turn 1 the last lap, and has damaged the left front fender.
He lost 2 positions in trying to take second, third away from Labonte, and has suffered maybe even more than that.
There we see him get down in the corner, and looks like they did make contact. He gets off the gas. Jarrett goes by, and Mark Martin goes by.
So we'll keep an eye on Jeff's 24 car and see if there is evidence that the bodywork is pushed in on the tire. He cut a tire, of course, at Indianapolis and had a very hard visitation with the retaining wall. Here's Wally Dallenbach, who's come in for a pit stop, a splash and go. He was running in 19th position when he came in.
So now he can run the rest of the day, the rest of the way.
And if a caution should come out and everybody else come in, put him right back up towards the front. That's a good strategy. If he knows he's going to have to stop anyway.
In the interest of the chicane, Craven, 41 car smoked the motor in the interest of the chicane.
Ned, did the 41 blow up?
Yeah, I think it did. You can see there's smoke coming from his car. And I don't know if this might bring a caution. Don't know. He's coasting. I don't think he can coast all the way back to the garage here. I just don't think he'll get that far.
And Jeff Bodine comes in for a pit stop. Does the caution come out? No.
Well, that's good, smart strategy on Jeff Bodine's part.
That's right.
That a caution will come out.
Yep.
And see, now he's not making a pit stop under cut. That is great strategy.
Bill Weber.
Well, this was their fuel window. After the last caution, they thought they could go 5 more laps, then they'd bring Jeff in. His crew chief, Paul Andrews, told me they don't believe anybody else can go the distance. They did right side tires first. Now swing around to the left side. They'll get every ounce of gasoline they can into his QVC Ford. Jeff sits there, revving the motor, waiting to go. Clap Jack, and Jeff's on his way. He can reach the finish. So can Wally Dallenbach. Who else?
This could be very interesting.
It could, because Ned, you're right, that 41 car can never get back.
No, I don't think he'll make it back. I think he's coasting still very slowly, so I think there's going to...
He's approaching turn number 10. There he is coming out of 9. Up there at the top of your screen is where Ned is. And this car is not going to make it all the way around. However, we still do not see a full course caution. We saw the corner workers there saying yellow, and now we do. The caution comes out here at the start-finish line. Overall caution on lap number 63.
Boy, Bodine hit a home run, didn't he, Ned?
Yes, he did. I'll tell you, that's what you want to do on the road course, is make a pit stop and have the caution come out while you're in the pits. You can't beat that.
Interesting situation as Ricky Craven's stalled car has caused our 3rd overall caution here at Watkins Glen International. Pace car has picked up the field, and Rusty Wallace appears to be headed back for the racetrack. They've got necessary repairs made to the Miller Ford, and Rusty about to go back out there. He lost 10 laps. Dale Jarrett has been closing the gap as far as the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship is concerned recently. He was 212 points behind the leader following Loudon and has closed it down to within 63, and he is currently 3rd in the point standings. His win last week at the Brickyard 400 has made him our True Value Man of the Race for the Brickyard 400. True Value will donate $1,000 on behalf of Dale to Brenner's Children's Hospital, a favorite beneficiary of many NASCAR drivers. And Dale contributes to many charities, including 2 special projects at Newton Conover Middle School. He completely funded the Dale Jarrett Wellness Room, which provides athletic training equipment for students and faculty, and he annually awards the Dale Jarrett Determination Award to 2 8th graders, 1 girl and 1 boy. So there's the story of the man of the race last week at the Brickyard 400. Now we're going to see some pit stops, Pete.
Are we? Well, what are we going to see pit stops? I mean, right now, Wally Dallenbach pitted. He can go the rest of the way. He would be the leader if they all pit. Jeff Bodine, we know he can go the rest of the way with 4 fresh tires. But these guys, I think, are going to have some gasoline. Will they do it now? Looks like they are. Are they faking each other out?
No, I don't think so, no. Dale Earnhardt comes in, Terry Labonte comes in, and so do several others. Dale Jarrett, let's go to Bill Weber.
Terry Labonte is in. Fuel only. They make it back up just a little bit. They top it off. Terry's on his way. Fuel only for the 5.
But Labonte has to come through all that traffic. He's pitting up near at the entrance of the pits, but he had to slow down for that traffic. Let's go back to the pits.
Earnhardt stops at the far end of pit road. Jarrett is down here. Gordon is down here. Gas only for Earnhardt. He is down and away. Mark Martin is out. Here is Gordon out. Jarrett. And they will follow Terry Labonte. And Terry Labonte beat them all as they head down to turn 1.
But they've got to fall in behind all the cars on the racetrack. All those cars on the track have got to go by. He's got to fall in behind Rusty Wallace. They can't blend in like that.
Yep. They are, but they shouldn't be. Everybody that stayed on the track should be positioned ahead of those who came in.
That's right. I mean, Jeff Bodine and the 15 car. I mean, NASCAR will get this straightened out.
You can bet down on that.
But now you see Bobby Labonte did not stop. He has been known for getting very, very good gas mileage. And so he's at the head of the pack. Ken Schrader didn't stop as well. And Butch Leisinger. So going to be interesting.
So Bobby Labonte is shown as the leader at the moment under this caution. 64 laps completed. You're watching live coverage of the Bud at the Glen from Watkins Glen, New York. Field under caution here at Watkins Glen because of Ricky Craven's stalled car. Should be going back green before too much longer. We have had several cars that came in for a pit stop, but they may have been in violation, or some of them may have been in violation.
Well, they've already sorted themselves out because Wally Dallenbach and Jeff Bodine are faster. But that's Jimmy Cox, the stop and go man. That's him there. As these cars are coming off pit road, you'll see the sign the green sign that he's holding. That says go. The other side of that says
stop.
Aha! And that's what those drivers are seeing as they go by pit road. But they continue going on because they're all trying to establish who's going to be in front of who. But they now have fallen behind the cars that were on the racetrack.
Terry Labonte's crew, interestingly, looking on to.
There we see Bob Labonte right in the middle. So there we see Labonte now is behind Jeff Bodine. And if new tires are worth anything, Bodine has them, and these other cars don't have them.
There's the cars that did not stop, and they're now ahead of Terry Labonte. Here's Bill Weber.
Okay, a couple guys down here at this end of pit road near the final turn on this road course believe they can make it. The 18, Bobby Labonte, I talked to his crew chief, Jimmy Makar. He said, I believe we could have made it even if it stayed green. This caution will help us. I'm sure we can reach the finish. The 29 crew, the Cartoon Network Chevrolet, with veteran road racer Butch Leisinger in that car. They've had a great day. One slow pit stop, but Butch has made up positions on the track. They also believe they can go the distance. They did not come in under this most recent caution. They stopped earlier. So the 18, the 29, of course the 7, believe they can all reach the finish.
Hey, Bill, you know what is going to happen?
What?
We're going to have a caution flag, so we'll have a great race when one of these cars run out of gas and can't make it back to pit road.
How do you feel when that happens, Benny?
Man, it's going to be a sad, sad day. Rusty Wallace back in, checking the toe in.
All right, let's take another break before we have the green flag come out once again. As up front, it is Bobby Labonte. Right now, Mark Martin running in 13th position. By the way, there were 10 cars that did not come in for a pit stop, and so they are positioned ahead now of those who were running up front before the caution.
You're right. Right now, Bobby Labonte is the leader. Kenny Schrader, Butch Lightsinger, Todd Bodine, Brett Bodine, Ward Burton. Remember, he spun a moment ago. He is now running in 6th spot. Johnny Benson has stayed out there. Wally Dallenbach and Jeff Bodine in front of our previous leaders, Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt.
Here's another AutoZone off-track time for Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt. Their 3rd pit stop, which came on lap 63, about over 2-second faster pit stop for Labonte than Earnhardt. And that caused him to gain a position on the racetrack.
Where you see next stop, there will not be a next stop.
By the way, this is the first time in his career that Bobby Labonte, our current leader, has been at the front on a road course. Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, guys, current Busch Senior Series point leader David Green was supposed to be a relief driver, David, what did I tell you this morning?
Jerry, you told me I was going to have the day off and relax a little bit, but I tell you what, Dale Earnhardt is something else, and this has been an unbelievable weekend for me. A lot of experience. Hopefully, if I could have helped him out a little bit in practice like we did, this is going to get him to what we've seen so far today. That man's unbelievable, but this race team has done a whale of a job. They didn't know which driver was going to drive, how long which one was going to drive. So my hats are off to all these Goodrich team members. And again, to Dale Earnhardt, he drove a whale of a race. And like you said, you were right. I got the day off, but we didn't know that.
Hey, now your first clue, though, came on the pace lap. Tell the folks at home what Earnhardt did.
Well, Ron Hornaday's here. He's never been to Watkins Glen, and they're going to run the trucks in a couple weeks. And he rode in a pace car with Elmo. So Ron got over here and he told me that Earnhardt pulled up beside of him and said, I'm going to drive all the way. So at that point, we didn't know what was going to happen. But, he's a racer, and these guys are in it for the championship, and they got a whale of a race car. I drove it a little bit, but that race car drove me instead of me driving it. It's an awesome piece, and Dale deserves to be in there, and he's doing a whale of a job.
Hey, quite a compliment to you that they picked you to drive the car. And by the way, you're looking awful dapper in your Goodrich uniform here. But next week at Michigan, back to the Caterpillar team.
Right, and I want to thank all those guys. Those guys gave me a break to get good on all these racetracks, and thanks to them, they've showcased my name a little bit. But thanks to Richard Childers, all these guys, Bobby Hutchin, David Smith, these guys been over backwards just like I was Dale Earnhardt, and Dale has been also. He's been really, really good.
David Green, sort of like the Maytag repairman today, awful lonely here in the pits, and that's where he'll stay until they wave the checkered flag. Bob?
We'll have coverage of the BGN and Winston Cup race from Michigan next week. Well, it was the Dale and Dale show. We've seen it many times in Winston Cup competition. That's the way it was when it started today, with Earnhardt on the pole and Jarrett alongside in row number 1. At the Bud at the Glen, it is Ken Schrader leading Jeff Bodine, Bobby Labonte, but positions has shuffled during our break.
Well, Jeff Bodine has taken over that 2nd spot from Bobby Labonte. Now we have the Labonte brothers in 3rd and 4th, and we see Earnhardt up on the back of Brett Bodine.
The 42 car of Todd Bodine in relief of Kyle Petty got off track a while ago and lost several positions. May have thought he cut a tire, may have cut a tire, but this is how he got off course. Way off course, as a matter of fact.
Ned, he's completely on the grass. All 4 tires.
Yeah, all 4 wheels were on the grass. That was as he's coming up through the S's there, Benny, and it cost him a lot of positions, and he had to ride gingerly there for a couple of laps because he thought he did have a flat tire.
Let's drop back to make that 12th position. Here comes Dale Jarrett now on the inside of Wally Dallenbach, headed for turn number 1.
And Jeff Gordon's car, the 24 car, is just not right. Now, a moment ago, a couple of laps ago, Dale Jarrett passed him going down to turn 1. He got off in the dirt and lost a couple of more spots.
So Dale Jarrett moves up to 8th position. And there is Gordon in 10th. Michael Waltrip in 11th. Good showing for Michael. Jeff Bodine closing in on the leader of the race, Ken Schrader.
Yes, he is, Bob. He's down to about 6 car lengths now as they head out of turn 9. They pull away from Bobby Labonte. So Jeff Bodine on a mission with those 4 new tires on his car. And remember, he was staying out in front of Dale Earnhardt and them before when they had new tires on, and he had used tires on before he made his pit stop. He's got a good car, and he knows how to get around this racetrack.
Martin goes by Brett Bodine, takes over the 6th spot.
I don't think I ever pointed out that Hut Strickland stayed in the pits for 45 laps. He's back out there. Only 2 cars are officially out of the race. That's Dick Trickle and Ricky Craven. As a matter of fact, because he's out there making laps, Hut Strickland has just moved up 1 spot to 37th.
See Jeff Gordon going by Wally Dallenbach. That gets him up to the 9th spot. And Dale Jarrett on the inside of Brett Bodine, taking over the 7th spot.
Big I've seen more passing up through these edges today than I ever remember on this road course. I guess you got some engine like Jerry has in that car. That helps.
They are going after it. That's for doggone sure. Looked like Terry Labonte was on the inside of his brother. Wasn't he? Yep, there he is, man.
And he has made the pass. Terry has moved up to the 3rd position as Jeff Bodine continues to close in just a little bit on Ken Schrader.
Here's Schrader, 25th race. This is his 26th road course race. His best was a 4th at Watkins Glen in '94. He has 12 top 10 finishes, 2 top 5 at Watkins Glen in 10 events. But the lead is dwindling as Jeff Bodine stands on the hammer. Let's see what happens as they come down the straightaway.
Well, guys, there are 2 fellows that needs to win in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, Jeff Bodine and Ken Schrader. They both need to win very badly.
Let's look again at how Terry Labonte was able to get by his brother Bobby.
He just moved over on coming into the inner loop, Bob, and outbraked him coming in there. And of course, Bobby didn't resist him, let him go. He knew he had a faster car.
Ken Schrader looks back at Jeff Bodine.
And he's there now, then.
He is
come out of the inner loop. Jeff Bodine looks on the inside, but he can't quite do it. But he's working on him.
And here's an AutoZone on-track interval, and you can see how he has closed the gap from 2.3 seconds on lap 73 to now just a matter of car lengths on lap 77.
He has been faster on each of the 5 laps that we timed. And there we see it come through turn 10. He'll turn back to the right to turn 11 and complete 1 more lap.
That will be lap number 78. 12 laps to go. Watkins Glen.
Hey guys, the Ward Burton car is very, very slow. He didn't even go through the inner loop. He just came straight through. He's coasting, it looks like, and I'm not sure that he would be able to get, I don't think he can get back to the garage area. And now he's going to pull it off the racetrack, down on the inside, totally out of the way. That's good thinking on his part.
So we may not have a caution. Had the car stopped close to the racetrack, we may have, but it's off the racetrack, and so the green flag remains out. And the battle up front continues.
Schrader backs off Bodine with those 4 fresh tires.
Heading into the inner loop here. Bodine has been gaining in this area lately. He has still a car length as he behind. He closes in a little tighter as they go out of turn 9. This long sweeping downhill turn, right-hand turn, and heading back towards turn 10, guys.
Chevy versus Ford here. Schrader in a Chevy, Bodine in a Ford. Ford has won 6 of the last 7 races on the road course in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Coming up is a good passing point. All you have to do is outbrake the guy ahead of you. Jeff will not make an attempt, however, on this lap.
And Terry Labonte, the Kellogg car, is gaining on these 2 cars. So Jeff Bodine, if he possibly can get by Kenny Schrader, he's going to have to do it quickly.
And because it'll become a 3-car race then you not only have to drive offensively, you have to drive defensively if Terry Labonte gets up there.
Ken Schrader's best finish in 1996 was at Daytona. The very first race of the year, he ran 3rd. He has the lead at the moment, but is under a considerable amount of pressure from Jeff Bodine. 79 laps to go, or 79 laps completed, 11 to go here at the Bud at the Glen. Back in just a moment. Great battle for the lead at the butt of the Glen. Ken Schrader, Jeff Bodine, and Terry Labonte running nose to tail with 9 laps to go. Ken Schrader, the leader of the race, last won 159 races ago. That was in June of 1991 at Dover. How about Jeff Bodine? Well, his last win was 55 events ago at North Wilkesboro in October of 1994.
Man, it looks like that Kenny Schrader just got a little bit of a horsepower advantage over Bodine.
He comes up through those S's very strong, Benny, but then Bodine picks it back up when they get into the interloop here and going through turn 9. Of course, those new tires, I'm sure, helps them to come up from Rusty Wallace. Rusty pulls totally away, gets out of the way of them as they head out on turn 9 here. There's a battle between Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt as they battle for the 6th position, but Ken Schrader is doing a great job of using the racetrack to his advantage.
Still the Dale and Dale show back there, but not for first and second the way they started, but rather the battle for 6th position. Dale is 6th, Earnhardt is 6th, and Jarrett is 7th.
Here comes the leaders once again. Completed one more lap. There the Bud crew is up. Everything's okay. Jerry Bud there to try to lead, Jerry.
You think this Budweiser crew isn't in this race, guys? I mean, they are so pensive standing on the wall. And a moment ago, Bodine is side by side with their driver trying to make a move. And he made the move.
Well, not yet. They're still wheel to wheel. Man, some good racing up through the S's.
Can you imagine that pass net through the S's?
Yeah, what a move by Jeff Bodine. And the field is closing in as they come into the interloop here. Now Terry Labonte gets by Kenny Wallace. Kenny Schrader.
That's, of course, teammate and teammate. Terry Labonte takes second, and Ken Schrader drops from first to third in this lap. Actually, about a half a lap.
Now then, we're going to see if those 4 fresh tires. Watch this, folks. Down in turn 2, Jeff Bodine almost made contact. Bodine gets the car sideways. And Schrader will not let go.
And more contact right there.
But they finally have to let go, and Bodine goes on, takes the lead.
Wow, that was a nice little battle there. The 99 car of Jeff Burton just spun. He was in 12th position, but is going to fall back now. And the 88 car of Dale Jarrett may have a problem.
Yeah, he was slow. You see cars passing him there, Bob.
He's coming in, Ned.
Transmission heading into the pits, but have a flat.
Yep. So Dale Jarrett, who was running in 7th position, has to give it up. We've seen several cars off the course recently, and every time they do, they kick up a little more dust and debris onto the racetrack, and that could be what Dale Jarrett encountered. He's making his way very slowly at 35 miles an hour down pit road, finally arrives at the pit stall, and the crew goes to work on it. This is a tough break because it's going to hurt Dale in the points. Got a good run going, but has to give it up for.
They made some contact with someone. We see him working on the fender, the left front fender. So maybe he and Earnhardt made some contact.
He goes back out. Our focus attention at the front of the field once again. Jerry?
Well, he did make contact, Benny Parsons, and apparently he had to come in. I mean, his left front tire was almost completely shredded. In fact, most of the tread is completely off, and the cord is showing. I don't think Dale Jarrett would have made another half a lap. As we'll take a look, maybe we can show you this tire. It's Todd Parrott and the crew working on it.
And we'll try Kenny Schrader ran out of gas. Schrader ran out of gas.
There are less than 6 laps to go, and Schrader has slowed on the front stretch. And that's the worst place in the world to run out because it's 2.4 miles back to the entrance to pit road.
There's no way in the world he can coast all the way back. I don't know where he's going to stop.
Boy, they thought they could make it all the way, and they like a long way making it all the way, didn't they?
Yeah, 6 laps.
Jeff Bodine is pulled away a little bit from Terry Labonte. Once he got by Kenny Schrader, Labonte had closed right in on him, but Jeff Bodine pulling away now to about a 12-car length lead.
Good battle is for 3rd position as Mark Martin comes up and challenges Bobby Labonte. We watch from the top of Mark Martin's car now. Jeff Bodine is in no trouble in terms of fuel because he came in on lap 63.
He shouldn't be, and changed 4 tires, filled the car up with fuel, and the next lap, the caution flag fell. A huge break for Jeff Bodine, and he is trying his best to make the most of that break.
Kenny Schrader just went through here, Benny, so he's gotten this far. I think he'll make it back to the pits.
All right,
but boy, he's losing a lot of positions.
Yep. Jerry, what happened to Schrader? Was it fuel?
No, Bob, it wasn't fuel. It's that typical Kenny Schrader look. I mean, you just can't believe it. Kenny just radioed a minute ago and told Phil Hammer something broke in the drive line. He's got fuel, but the car, this is not running well at all, so he's barely going to make it back, maybe.
Wow. Well, hats off to Kenny, who had a great show out there today. By the way, the 43 car you probably saw, Bobby Hamilton has pulled off the racetrack again. He's going to finish back in about 38th position. Our Fran Field summary for you as we continue to focus on this battle between Mark Martin and up ahead, Bobby Labonte for the third place.
The last couple of laps, Jeff Bodine has increased his advantage by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, he's pulling away.
Kenny Schrader, when he came down the front straightaway, something puffed out the exhaust. I thought that he had run out of fuel, but obviously that was the engine blowing that I saw.
This is the best battle on the racetrack. Martin and Bobby Labonte. You know, Jeff Bodine came into this race with the distinction of having led the most laps by a non-winner. He had led 321 laps. I have 32 laps, I should say, in 1986. Did not win this race.
1996?
In 86.
86.
Yeah. So he may be able to pull off the victory here this afternoon.
You go in the bottom of the barrel, pull that stuff out of your ball back in 1986?
Well, at least I got it. Mark Martin within a car length for third.
Battle for third. There it comes. He's looking on the inside, Ned.
Trying to get down on the inside as they come into the inner loop here. Let's see if he pulls it off, and yes, he does. So Mark Martin takes over third. Bobby Labonte drops to fourth. Jeff Gordon is in fifth place. Dale Earnhardt sixth. Michael Waltrip seventh. Then it's a little ways back to the eighth place car of Wally Dallenbach.
Yeah, Kenny Schrader just went by us a moment ago. The car is still running, although slowly. There we see Jeff Gordon trying to get by Labonte.
And Jeff begins a move upward after losing positions earlier. A reminder that Alan Bestwick will be joined by Mark Martin for NASCAR Shop Talk immediately following coverage of the Bud at the Glen. Jeff Bodine, there's his advantage on Terry Labonte.
Terry got a tough break, caught Hut Strickland going in the corner on the outside. That had to cost him at least a half second on Jeff Bodine. And Earnhardt,
he's getting tired, I believe.
I think he should be. He should be awfully tired, and he looked like it going off that corner. But Dale, there's only 3 laps to go. I'm sure Richard Childress is telling him that.
Congratulations to Paul Andrews. He has been named the Western Auto Mechanic of the race for the Bud at the Glen. Crew chief on the number 7 car, driven by Jeff Bodine. Well, can the hometown favorite pull off a win here today? As I mentioned, Bodine grew up just a few miles from Watkins Glen.
See the disadvantage that Terry Labonte had catching that slower car going in the corner? Had to be a half second.
And where is Dale Earnhardt?
There he comes.
There is Jeff Gordon. Here is Dale Earnhardt running in 6th position. Well, we thought the 43 car pulled off the racetrack, but he's trying to make it around. Bobby Hamilton staying out there. Dale Earnhardt running in 6th position.
That right door on Earnhardt's car has some fairly significant damage to it.
Earnhardt has gone the entire distance. There are less than 2 laps to go now for Jeff Bodine, whose best finish in 1996 was a 3rd at Pocono. He's about to register win number 18 in his career if he can hold it together for another lap and a half, and if he can stay ahead of Terry Labonte for that long. And Jeff Gordon just passed the 18 car and moved into 4th.
Jeff Gordon got a real break early. He had made some contact with his teammate Terry Labonte. Had knocked the tire, the fender on the tire. They had to stop. They got a caution flag, gave him a stop, knocked that fender out, so now he's back up to 4th spot. But here comes Jeff Bodine off turn 11 for the start-finish line.
And they're now showing the white flag. One more lap to go. 2.4 miles for Jeff Bodine, whose best finish here previous to today was a second in 1990. There is Schrader, who led this race for quite a while. Jeff passed him. Schrader stays out there, but has fallen all the way back to the last car on the lead lap, 25th spot.
As a matter of fact, Jeff Bodine just lapped him, but he will still be 25th. Now 24 cars in the lead lap.
What a victory this is going to be for Jeff Bodine.
Man, I'm telling you, well, look, he's waving to the crowd as he goes by. Ned, is he going to wave to you, Ned?
He probably will. He feels good out there. He's got himself a pretty good little lead, but he needs to keep his eye on the road and be very careful as he goes through all of these turns. But he's got everything under control.
Ned, I think we need to not only salute the driving ability of Jeff Bodine, but also the strategy that they played out in this race. That was just as much a factor as anything.
Oh, it was the key factor. I don't think there's any question about that. That was a very, very smart move, the way they did it. Stayed out there and then made a green flag pit stop. Caution came out, everybody else came in, and he was up towards the front. And as a result, he had the car to stay up front and head towards you in victory.
And here is Jeff Bodine coming off corner number 11 and getting the checkered flag. He wins the Bud of the Glen. Terry Labonte is second, followed by Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Dale Earnhardt.
See Michael Walter coming across in the 7th spot.
Good run.
Eddie Wood told me this morning he'd die for a top 10. Eddie, you got it, buddy.
Here comes a mess off the corner.
Dallenbach and Morgan Shepherd and looked like Nemechek got 8th spot, Morgan Shepherd 9th, and Wally Dallenbach in 10th. And there is one, folks, trust me, there is one happy guy.
We've seen Paul Andrews pull off this same kind of strategy when he was working with Alan Kulwicki, the late Alan Kulwicki. And it's good to see Jeff Bodine and the team celebrating the victory at his hometown track here this afternoon. Who was born in Elmira, grew up in Chemung, wins the Bud of the Glen. We'll be back in just a moment to talk with him. Wow. First time since North Wilkesboro in 1994, Jeff Bodine records his 18th career NASCAR Winston Cup win. Here comes Dale Earnhardt, and you can see the pain on his face, but Earnhardt withstood the pain and the agony and drove the car to a 6th place finish. Here's the McDonald's Winner's Circle interview with Bill Weber.
Well, I'll tell you, just about everybody Jeff Bodine knows here in the Finger Lakes region is here. Jeff, welcome home. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is home in 2 ways. Back home in Chemung and Chemung County and Victory Lane. Thank God for this, I tell you. He's got me through a lot of struggles in my life in the last 2 years. He got me through a lot today, I'll tell you. This car was terrific. The guys, Paul Andrews, Gary Preziosi, guys at the engine shop, it paid off finally.
A great strategy, too. Everything fell your way, Jeff.
We planned that 2 days ago, 3 days ago, that strategy. We stuck to it, and it worked. Unbelievable. Paul, great, Jeff. That was great. This is fantastic. Our sponsor, QVC. Hey, we can do a lot of shopping tonight. We won. We're shopping QVC. Hey.
Jeff Bodine in Victory Lane to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Dale, you made it, my friend. Incredible. 90 laps. No one thought you could make it that far. How do you feel?
I can't say that on TV.
I know you're hurting.
I got to thank David Green for coming up and helping us out and standing by for me. And the car was great. The car, I was a little soft on brakes there at the end. I'd used them pretty hard all day, but you know, I just didn't have nothing there at the end to run with the brakes, and I think the driver's giving out some too.
How's the shoulder and how's the chest?
I know it's there.
Man, incredible. Remarkable that he could run 90 laps, Bob, and still climb out of the car. Bob?
Yeah, it was an amazing run by Dale Earnhardt and also by Jeff Bodine. We take a look at the unofficial results of this race. We remind you that we'll be at Michigan International Speedway next weekend for both Busch Grand National and the Winston Cup race. You see there that Ken Schrader finished in 25th position after leading in the late stages of the race, and only 2 cars were behind the wall and out of the event when it ended. The points, Terry Labonte retains the lead. Jeff Gordon moves up to 3rd, Dale Jarrett back to 4th, and Mark Martin in 5th position. Thanks for joining us here at Watkins Glen International. ESPN, a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.